right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, early arrival. Recreational marijuana launches tomorrow.
It's exciting for Missourians. You know, a lot of revenue is spilled over to Illinois. We may as well put it in our pocket.
Brace for a bitter breeze to begin your Friday. The change is coming as we head into the weekend.
But first tonight, late-breaking news. Police closing down a road and going door to door. We're live with the latest. Tonight, homicide detectives are investigating a double shooting in South St. Louis. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. We're told one of the victims is a child. Police were called to the 5100 block of Pennsylvania about 3 hours ago. That's between 55 and South Broadway in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. Our Robert Townsend is there live trying to get the latest information. Robert?
Hey there, Ann. Right now, police are still out here. They've been out here for the past 3 hours. If I step out of the way, you can see right now there's one police car sitting right there in that alley. 2 officers there. They're on their computers. They just checked the dumpster here, too. But again, for the most part, the crime scene tape is now down in this area. Now, initially around 7 tonight, an emergency call went out about 2 people shot inside an apartment on Pennsylvania Avenue and were unconscious. Now, detectives and officers got here and fanned out all across this area. They knocked on neighbors' doors, asked people for possible video from their security cameras, and searched a nearby dumpster in an alley. About 2 hours later, authorities removed 2 bodies from an apartment. Right now, police have not told us anything about the victims. More than a dozen family members gathered at this scene and watched all this. They told us the victims were, quote, an adult male relative and a child. Again, just minutes ago, all the crime scene tape came down, but for the most part, the majority of the officers are all gone except those 2. We are definitely following this developing story. We'll post it on KSDK.com as soon as we get even more information. But for now, though, live in South City, Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Right now, a blast of Arctic air is moving into St. Louis after a mild Groundhog Day. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with what you can expect for your Friday morning. Scott.
Well, your Friday morning is going to feature a big change from what we had this afternoon when temperatures topped out around that 50-degree mark. That change getting underway right now as the winds have turned to the northwest. They're becoming a little bit gusty. And look at Pittsfield, already down to 20 degrees. In the metro area, we've dropped into the upper 20s. But take into account that wind and wind chills already in the single digits north of St. Louis. They're dropping around 20 in the St. Louis area. Wind chills tomorrow morning, 5 below to 5 above at the bus stop. Temperatures will be in the lower teens, only around 20 at lunchtime for recess and 24, but with plenty of sunshine across the area tomorrow. 24 when the kids come home. So a bitter breeze overnight, that cold sunshine tomorrow, and a dry weekend expected. There are changes as we head into next week. We'll break those down with our 10-day forecast in about 15 minutes.
In just a matter of hours, anyone 21 years and older will be able to walk into a dispensary and purchase marijuana in Missouri.
Today's announcement comes 4 days before many retailers expected it. Brent Solomon is live at a South City dispensary that will be welcoming new customers tomorrow morning. Brent.
That's right. Here at Greenlight, their stores all across the state are expanding hours, bringing in extra staff, and making sure they have supply. Before now, you needed a medical card in order to walk through these doors, but tomorrow that will all change.
Double everything. That's what we did, and if it's not enough, we'll triple it as far as people go.
Because Greenlight dispensaries are preparing for a demand like they haven't seen before. It means training new workers,
or they can refund that back to their card.
Unpacking supply.
We've got plenty of flour. You don't want to run out of that.
And getting ready for an influx of recreational marijuana customers. Like all dispensaries in Missouri, before now, they could only sell to customers who used pot for medical purposes. In November, voters approved legalizing marijuana for anyone over 21. Stores can now begin selling it Friday.
It makes it much safer to purchase this stuff in a store versus on the street, the black market. You'll know exactly what you're getting. You'll never find anything sprinkled with fentanyl in here.
And
I looked out, and it was one of the first interviews.
it's putting people to work. Johnny Moore works here 40 hours a week.
You're making a living here.
Making a living, it's work, yeah. I got benefits, yeah, I got health insurance.
It comes as some groups are concerned about marijuana getting into the hands of those it isn't supposed to. Here's what the director of Prevent Ed said Thursday. Quote, Prevent Ed remains concerned about the impact of high-potency cannabis products on adolescent brain development. We strongly encourage close regulation of the industry, particularly product marketing and availability as it relates to our young people. For help in talking about or addressing cannabis use with your teen, please visit talkaboutitmo.com.
And here at Greenlight, they tell me there is a strict check-in process. You have to have a state ID or a passport when you walk in. Other than that, they're actually expanding their hours, opening earlier and closing later, now that recreational marijuana sales are taking effect. Live in St. Louis, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And here are 5 things to know about recreational marijuana in Missouri. You must be 21 to purchase and use. You can possess up to 3 ounces. Missouri residents will also be able to register to grow up to 18 plants at home. The application process is set to begin any day now. There will be a 6% state tax, but local municipalities may tax an additional 3%. This will all generate an estimated $41 million per year for the state of Missouri.
Tonight, the Missouri Supreme Court has rejected a stay of execution request for the man convicted of murdering his girlfriend and her 3 children. The decision came down just hours ago. Leonard Taylor is set to be executed by lethal injection on Tuesday for the 2004 murders of Angela Rowe and her 3 young children in Jennings. Taylor says he was in California at the time of the murders, meeting his 13-year-old daughter for the first time. But his daughter was never called to testify. Advocates for Taylor also dispute the victim's time of death and argue these are grounds for a stay. Tonight, the Midwest Innocence Project sent a letter to Governor Mike Parson to halt the execution.
A major break tonight in a cold case in the Metro East. Tonight, 2 men are charged in the murder of a mother. Patrina Butler Turner was last seen in East St. Louis in 2013. Her remains were found in December in the woods off Highway 111. She had been strangled. Today, prosecutors charged Roger Sutton Jr. with first-degree murder. His nephew, Matthew Byer, is charged with concealing her body. The victim's mother says she finally has some closure.
Every day we think about her and pray.
Did you ever think there would be a break in the case?
Really, I almost gave up hope.
We do not forget Trina. You did not forget Trina, and we will fight for justice for Trina.
Investigators are still asking anyone with information in this case to please call the Pontoon Beach Police Department. Tonight, a suspect is behind bars after a carjacking and police chase in Franklin County. It started around 6:30 this morning when a person was carjacked at gunpoint on West 2nd Street in Washington. Minutes later, a trooper spotted the car. The suspect reached speeds up to 100 miles per hour before ending in a crash in Berger. A man was arrested after he was found hiding in an empty backyard pool.
Tonight, MoDOT is telling 5 on your side the 270 North Corridor project is on budget and scheduled to be completed by the end of the year. Right now, the $278 million project is around 70% complete. This weekend, North County drivers should expect a major detour on New Halls Ferry as crews complete bridge work. On Monday, New Florissant at 270 will be closed between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. for 2 weeks.
Tonight, a Wentzville neighborhood is lit up in green. It's in celebration of a resilient family.
10-year-old Jackson Dreiling was diagnosed with kidney disease. He was on dialysis. He felt horrible. He desperately needed a kidney transplant, and luckily, he found a match. New tonight, 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski was there for this very special, long time coming homecoming parade.
This little Wentzville neighborhood parade is all for the Dreilings.
Wave at him, he can see you. He puts on his goggles, he can see you.
Last January, so 2022, Jackson was diagnosed with kidney disease. It came out of nowhere. It took us all by surprise, and it quickly progressed to dialysis by March.
Jackson's mom, Kate, says it's been a hard year for the whole family.
I had to step down from my job and to take care of him full-time, his full-time care.
Jackson needed a kidney transplant, which could have taken years. Fortunately, his donor was a lot closer than they realized.
And I was a match, so here we are. Like, how do you say no to that? It's my son.
And finally, on January 19th, surgeons at 2 different hospitals worked their magic to take Kate's kidney and give it to Jackson.
My husband was trying to bounce between 2 hospitals, 2 ORs, 2 family members being under at the same time, so it was a lot to take on. But here we are, and I'm proud to say he's doing good.
After 16 days in the hospital, this was exactly the boost they needed.
Oh my God, Mom, look at all the trucks.
The whole neighborhood went green for Jackson and his mom.
There's Miss Sarah. I'm a pretty reserved, quiet person for the most part, so to see that like that many people are standing behind myself and my son, it's actually really emotional. I don't really have a lot of words for it. It's comforting to know that we have that many people in our corner.
Jackson's dad, Ryan, is a firefighter. Some of the crew he works with came out to show their support.
I almost got my ears ringing this loud.
We're all a family, and it was the neatest thing to be able to come up here and be a part of this. I don't know how in the world we kept it a secret, but anyway, just to be a part of it. You know, we love both of them, and we think it's the neatest thing that he was able to get a kidney.
And Laura joins us now. Jackson looks great. I was lucky enough to meet his mom earlier this week, and the relief that she said, now my son can be a kid again. So let's talk about Mom as the donor. How is she doing? How's she feeling?
Yeah, and she's doing great. She says the recovery process has been fairly good, and she was only in the hospital for about 24 hours, so she's doing really well, and they're all doing great at home and had that wonderful experience at the parade tonight.
All right.
You gotta feel better when you get that kind of support.
Yes, and
Of
they
course.
really came out. It's a great story. Laura, thank you. Tonight, Project 5 and Behavioral Health Response are teaming up to provide mental health counseling. Mental health professionals are standing by right now to take your call until 10:30 tonight. Just call the number on your screen, 314-469-6644.
A carjacker stole his car with the key fob still in his hand.
That was a shocker to me. How did I get that far?
Tonight, the I-Team with a warning to drivers on how to protect yourself. Catch of a lifetime.
It doesn't feel real. Even now, I'm kind of like just processing.
They went home with Albert Pujols' 701st home run ball. Now a young couple is just hours away from a big payday.
This is just a brief blast of Arctic air. We are timing out the return of milder weather as we head into the first full week of February.
It is a startling statistic. 149 cars stolen in the city of St. Louis in the span of just 7 days. So that's about 20 per day. Tonight, community members are asking for help. According to police, 691 cars have been stolen in the past month. More than 400 were Kias or Hyundais. In the Soulard neighborhood, business owners fear the spike in car thefts will drive away business.
A lot of our business is tourism. You know, I feel like we do have a good amount of people who come in from out of town. To have the tourism affected by that, it definitely hurts.
Community groups are hopeful after police formed a task force focused on curbing carjackings. Every night, it seems like we're reporting on a different carjacking.
And tonight, the I-Team's Paula Vassan talks to one carjacking victim who says he was driving around with a false sense of security, and you might be too.
And I'm holding on to the seat like this.
With half his body out the door, Tyrone Hayes recounts the scariest day of his life.
I was like, hey. I'm like, hey, man, it's a baby back here. I said, man, let me get this baby out and you can take the car. Say hi.
The day started with dropping sweet 9-month-old Amanda off at daycare in North St. Louis. He went to unbuckle the car seat. A man opened the door.
I saw him out the corner of my eye.
He got behind the wheel and pushed the ignition button.
And I got the baby up and he jetted off.
Tyrone had the key fob in his pocket the whole time. Police later found their car 15 miles away. Now, he's in a rental.
That was a shocker to me. How did I get that far?
Our I-Team had the same question. We went directly to the experts.
Are there security issues with these key fobs?
Potentially, yes.
AAA's Nick Chabaria says more than 80% of new cars have them. Keyless entry, or key fobs. Convenient? Absolutely. It can also make you a target.
It's going to be up to the manufacturers, again, to find ways to make these less, less prone to theft. Similar to the example we've seen with Kia and Hyundai thefts over the last year.
The Auto Group has seen vehicle thefts in Missouri nearly double over the last year. A big reason for the spike: people taking advantage of technological blind spots, from software failures to key fobs.
AAA says most cars will start if the key fob is close. We're talking within around 3 feet of your push-button ignition. If you're within that radius with your key fob, say getting a child out of a car seat, try this for safety.
Open the child's door, lock the doors, and then take them out of the car. Filling up your car with gas? Lock the door. It's more work, but auto industry experts say it'll keep you safer. Right now, Chabaria says key fobs just have this loophole, and we don't know how often thefts using this technology are actually happening. It's not something local police typically track. Chabaria says consumers need to be aware.
Are there changes that could be made to these key fobs to make them more secure?
Yeah, again, I think, possibly moving away from a completely keyless ignition system.
But auto experts say that's not likely anytime soon.
These are innocent lives here.
For now, Hayes counts his blessings.
The good thing is I'm safe, the baby is safe.
And hopes there isn't a next time.
I'm praying that they do catch him.
Auto experts say the best thing you can do is to stay alert, store your key fob a safe distance away, and lock your doors. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
Well, tonight we're remembering a former longtime member of the Channel 5 family.
Chris Condon, Channel 5 News at the Capitol.
Mr. Oster, tell
Chris
us about
Condon died this week. If you grew up in the 60s and 70s in St. Louis, Chris Condon was a familiar face and voice. He worked here as anchor and reporter for more than 2 decades, and during that time, he covered the building of the Gateway Arch and interviewed top newsmakers like President John F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. Chris Condon was 99 years old.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joining us now with the Weather First forecast. That weekend's looking pretty good.
The weekend's looking pretty good. We have one little bump here we've got
tomorrow.
to get through.
We got to pay for it, right?
Yes, tomorrow morning. Right now, it's warmer now in St. Louis than it will be at any point tomorrow. You see the cameras kind of bouncing out here as we look out at Lambert, and that's because the breeze is starting to pick up, and that breeze is bringing in colder air. 27 now in Berkeley, 26 in O'Fallon. We've got 29 in Baldwin, 30 in Millstop right now. We look up to our north, and well, there you go, 13 in Kirksville. Almost down to 0 in Des Moines. The cold front came through earlier, continues to press on to the south. That has opened the door now to just a brief little burst of Arctic air that's going to be with us as we head into tomorrow and tomorrow night. The southern system finally scooting on out of the picture. So in downtown St. Louis right now and across most of the area, it's a clear sky, but it's increasingly colder. Temperature right now is 30. It feels like it's 18 degrees because of that wind out of the north at 17 miles per hour. Very dry air. The dew point's at 8, which means we'll have mainly clear skies overnight, but we're dropping into the single digits, lower teens. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's frigid. There will be wind chills, but something else in the sky perhaps before daybreak tomorrow. You might get a chance to see this comet. You may have heard about the Green Comet. This comet hasn't been around for 50,000 years. So if you want to try to get a look at it, we can't guarantee you'll be able to see it without binoculars or a telescope, but there's a chance you find the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper in the sky, basically off Polaris, the North Star there. You're looking back to the left just a little bit in the sky. So you're looking the north-northwest sky. This would be very early tomorrow morning because you've got to get where it's dark and you need the moon to have set because we don't need that extra moonlight. Early morning, northern sky, about an hour or so before sunrise at least. Clear skies are needed, and that's something we may have again on Saturday morning. All of this active weather down to the south. Finally, it's warm enough where they're not seeing snow there. They are getting snow squalls, though, here in New York as the Arctic air is surging in. Those poor folks up there are going to be dealing with wind chills around 50 below 0 in Maine. We're looking at wind chills close to 0 tomorrow morning. Sunshine aplenty tomorrow. Winds will die down during the afternoon hours, but we're not getting out of the 20s. Back into the 40s, close to 50 as we head into Saturday. And how about Sunday? We'll say Sunday's the pick day of the weekend. A little less breeze, a lot more sunshine, and temperatures back into the mid-50s. Only 28 tomorrow with our cold sunshine, and here's your next 10 days. What sticks out and isn't like the other? Friday is 28. Every other day beyond that, at least, 15, 16 degrees warmer. So temperatures are going to be mild heading into the first full week of February.
And what's the average in February, temperature-wise?
We're starting out right now at 42. The end of the month, the average high is 51. But for most of this stretch, we're clearly above average.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, Scott. Frank is here with sports.
I wish I was above average. Hey, there's a genuine star at Mizzou. Larry Hughes and I got together on the basketball court today, and you got to see this story of this couple that caught home run ball number 701 from Albert. Stick around.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
So outside of Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, I don't know an athlete in the region who's had a better year than Kobe Brown at Mizzou. Keep in mind, he was a career 20% shooter from three-point range heading into the season. Not anymore. He's shooting 47% on the year. Last night he had 26 points against LSU, and I think his team kind of likes him.
Kobe Brown can shoot the leather off the ball. I know the first shot he hit, I gave him a little flip back. He shot it. I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good night.
Coach, so you saying you want me to shoot this? Yes, Kobe, I want you to shoot that. No hesitation. I will sub you out if I think you're not shooting the ball that you should shoot. Okay, that's how confident I want.
Brian Baroni and the SIU Cougars having a fine season hosting UT Martin, and this is perfection execution of the high-low game. Jonathan Curtis with the bucket. The Cougars win 89-75. Bob Sunvold and 25th-ranked UMSL are invincible, hosting Southwest Baptist. They put on another clinic tonight. Matt Enright from Webster Groves popping a three. He had a career-high 26. UMSL now 19-4 after an 82-50 victory. A great crowd at Maryville University. Former Billiken Drew Diener brought his Rockhurst team to town, and the Saints were not gracious hosts. Dylan Ingram will pop the three. The Saints are rolling at 13-9 after a 78-73 win. So the Billiken Blizzard will happen Friday night at Shavitz. It's a dream night for a sports fan, a great game and a free t-shirt. I went to practice today and was working with Larry Hughes Jr. on his jump shot. By the way, that qualifies as an assist. But enough of me, please. SLU has to forget that tough loss to Fordham the other night. The winner of this game against VCU will be in first place.
Anytime in February, anytime in mid-January and on, you don't have time you learn from your last game, you learn everything you can, hopefully it can help you the next game, but you got to move on. And I think these guys, they understand that.
So their tickets cost $75. Their tequila cost $13. But as you're about to see, it was money well spent. With the help of photographer Randy Schwenker, we give you the story of home run ball number 701. They're a young couple, Eli Gordon and Barbara Bronson, who simply bought 2 tickets to a baseball game. But this man made the game memorable.
I've been a Cardinals fan my whole life. I've been a big baseball guy. I mean, the fact that this could happen to me is just, it doesn't even seem real.
It was a Friday night, September 30th, and Albert did his thing.
The 1-2. Albert hits it out to deep left.
Kind of see it, and it kind of comes at you.
Number 701!
It almost happened in slow motion, I feel like.
I saw it kind of hit the railing, and I was like, oh my God, and then some guy missed it. And
it goes right into my cup. It was chaotic. Everyone was kind of diving into one area.
The guy from the row above us that kind of missed it tries to go for it, and he kind of is trying to pull my hand away.
Like put my hand over whoever's hand was on top of his, and kind of was like digging my nails in to get it off.
Just like digging in, trying to like grab the ball, but I was just like, there's no way I'm letting this go.
And he didn't. With the help of about 7 ushers, Eli and Barbara walked out with home run ball number 701. They saved the tickets and took a picture of the ball, which will now be auctioned off at Heritage Auctions in Dallas. And how will Heritage know the ball's for real? Dick Zitzman, who represents them, says 2 things.
Signed and notarized affidavit that they sent to the auction house, which the auction house requested. And we also have plenty of video footage of them catching the ball that Friday night at the stadium.
1 swing, 1 ball, 1 couple, and 1 night they will never forget.
Have a little part of history it's been really, really cool. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens with this auction.
701.
You can bid on the ball as we speak, and it's expected to yield at least $50,000. Mike, I say, go for it.
Yeah, that's petty cash for you, Frank.
That's right.
I can't believe it landed in her cup. I mean, obviously it's theirs.
The moral to that story, order tequila.
Thanks, Frank.
30 days until kickoff, 56 days until opening day. The opportunity now for St. Louis sports fans to root on their new and old teams.
Tickets are now on sale for St. Louis City SC's inaugural season, and the first match on March 4th already sold out. There are tickets, though, to 16 other matches at the new City Park. And in just a few hours, Cardinals single-game tickets go on sale. Sales begin at 10 a.m. on the team's website and at the Busch Stadium box office on 8th Street. Some tickets start as low as $6. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis from 4 to 7 a.m. and have a great Friday tomorrow.